Alrighty, so the fretboard and pickups and whatnot, we're going to deal with the pickups first, okay? I'm going to use a little bit of polish on this piece of paper towel. Okay. There's other polish products and whatnot that that we can use. I'll deal with those at a later date. I have some other videos that will discuss that. But you got to stay tuned in order to see that. Okay, so this has got a gold finish on it, and I'm not going to try to take off any of that gold or anything, obviously. People will get a little concerned about the condition of a finish, such as rust and whatnot around pole pieces and stuff like that. And it really doesn't hurt the sound or the anything like that. It just looks ugly, right? You know. And to tighten this up a little bit, I have a little just like a wooden dowel. You can use like a bamboo skewer or something like that, preferably wood instead of metal if you don't want to use metal. But this will help me get right tight into some of these corners and places. This pickup's not so bad, so this is, and the polish is helping to pick up some of that junk and whatnot. Okay, and all good stuff. Now there's a lot of corrosion here, which I could deal with a number of different methods, but in this case, I'm not going to get really hardcore with this, as I said. Okay. The purpose of our video here is to do a basic housekeeping thing and whatnot. Okay, but this this hard edge here really helps to get tight into the nasty bits. Okay, and you don't have to worry about scratching or anything like that. So if that were metal and it poked through, you'd have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anyway, to get some of this extra junk off, I'm going to use that tip there and just nibble at it. This is just making me cringe a little bit. The gold is so soft that it will come out very easily if you're not careful with this. And you can see it's evident in the top of the pickup. And I could take maybe I could take the pickup out and really have at it if I wanted to get it right to super clean again. But again, that's not what this particular video was after. We are doing a basic setup, so I'm going to be brief about this. Okay, that's a heck of a lot better than it was, for sure. All right, I'm going to just turn that up a little bit. Do a little bit more housekeeping here. Okay. Now, while I'm at it, I'm going to clean the tailpiece. Do yourself a favor. Don't hold parts over top of the guitar when you're working them, because they slip and they can fall down, and next thing you know, you've got damage on the top of your instrument. So stay away from the top of the instrument. Good habit. Okay. How do you learn that kind of stuff? Well, let's just say experience counts for something. And some of those are hard-won lessons. Okay, that's good to go. Now this is actually in really good shape. I think this is, yeah, it says Godot right there. I was suspecting that this was an aftermarket part because it was too clean. And the holes, those would be metric. They're oversized. It still fits and all that, but this is not the right bridge. This would, for this era, 93, it would be a shallower part. I would say made in Germany on the bottom. And yeah, so this is a replacement. Often what happens is the gold is soft and it degrades, and a lot of bridges on Les Pauls and other other instruments will, because your palm is resting there so much, they just get chewed out, and you wind up replacing the things. I would prefer to see that as being an original part. You can get it from Gibson, but you're going to be leveraged by the price is going to be leveraged by the name, or you can go direct to Schaller and get exactly the right part, which is dandy. Okay. Now, when I took this off, it was mounted backwards. I always like to see the saddles ramping forward. Okay, you can take it apart and turn them around. It's a bit of a pain in the butt, but it is possible. So I'm just eyeballing this for intonation right now. Well, I gotta pay attention to my own advice here and not stay over top of the instrument. I'm trying to make a visual point here, so I am expediting some things and not paying attention. Anyway, so here we are. This is totally eyeballed. What I have is a series of 3 ramps and 3 ramps. Okay, so it's like this, and then it shifts back about a 1/16 of an inch, and it does the same thing. So we have kind of a sort of thing. Okay, 3 and 3, 3 wound strings, 3 plain strings. That's a whole other ball game, which I'll get to in another video series. And I'm going to grab forgot to mention another valuable tool. Got an old toothbrush, good to go. Okay, that'll get right in there. This is thankfully pretty clean. There's other tools and whatnot you can use to clean house with these things, because they're all those little voids and whatnot, those cavities, they are just rotten for catching dirt and stuff like that, just nasty. Okay. No, I'm going to leave that off because we're going to deal with the neck. This neck is actually in pretty good condition. If it was gungy, really gungy, I would have at it more or less the same way, but I'll give you a quick lesson on how to deal with that. Okay, so these are recessed. I don't have to worry about setting them to the right height yet. Okay, just going to take some painter's tape here, all right? And just mask off our work area. Okay, low tack. Got to be low tack, because you don't want to see finish coming up, right? Very, very low tack. Okay, so we are going to tackle the neck. Of course, there's no real specific order to this. It's whatever, as long as the jobs are being performed in a logical sequence, it's all good. Okay, I have some Windex here. Sorry, I keep adding some elements and whatnot, but as the situation arises, I got to keep using the tools that I need to get the job done. Anyway, Windex, I'm going to spray this on here. I'm not going to spray it directly on there, okay? I don't want to get the Windex anywhere near the finish. Gibson products will have a natural lacquer finish. See the dirt coming off there? Being careful not to get it into the finish. I got around the underside of the neck and stuff like that. Okay, and one thing I want to make really clear is I'm not a fan of using steel wool. Not a fan at all, because those little bits of the steel get everywhere. They can get into your pickups, they can get on the finish and create problems. They get on your work surface. It's just ugly, 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 ugly. Anyway, there's alternatives. All that did there was just soften up the goo on the surface. You don't have to worry about the ebony being really problematic. If you have a lot of junk on there, you can just keep at it, and eventually you'll soften it up. The last process, if you want to save yourself a step or so, okay, once again, dollar store. Brass bristles, good stuff. Okay, you got to be careful with something like this. I'm going to use this to make a point of something. Okay, very lightly. What this will do is get the junk out of the knees of the frets, and it'll burnish the frets at the same time. It's not going to harm the ebony at all, because ebony is so hard. This will actually give a light polish. You can use this on the rosewood too, but you got to be very, very, very careful with it. Okay, but it's still a hard bristle brush. Metal. It's metal. Okay, so that's good to go. Got a lot of the junk out of there. This is 1500 grit micro mesh sandpaper, which you can find online, a lot of Amazon, stuff like that. Okay, or even hardware store, you can get 2000 grit would be just dandy. Okay, I'm just going to give these frets a quick polish. You can use finer grades, of course, and get a nicer shine. If you really want to have at it, you can get some really good shine happening. Okay, I wasn't pressing really hard. I'm not worried about the ebony finish on that either. Okay, in other words, I didn't mask it off or worry about that, because that was a pretty light buff, let's say. Okay. Again, back with the Windex, just to pick up the junk. Okay. Just a little bit of junk left over. Okay. And I'm not leaving that Windex sit on there, because that leaches out the oils in the wood. I want to get that off of there fairly quick. Okay, there you go. That literally dries in seconds. I just put that on there, and seriously, it's dry. It's already dry. Okay. Okay, lemon oil coming up. I'm going to dribble on a few drops. Okay. It can be a bit of an experience trying to get that stuff on without getting it everywhere, but this is what we do. This works really well with rosewood, and inexpensive, like the offshore stuff. That wood can be so dry, it'll suck up half a bottle in no time. Whoopsie. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, I'm just going to wipe up the excess. No need to let that sit on there, because that's not going to go anywhere or do anything, because that ebony is really tight. Alright, so that is Housekeeping 101 on an ebony neck. Different kinds of necks, such as your clear coat maple, rosewood, stuff like that. You want to treat, well, rosewood is more or less going to be the same process, but clear coat maple is a different thing. I'm just getting some of that extra oil off my hands. Okay, so that's that. I get rid of this. Okay, I'm going to take a short break, and we'll be back to do some basic body housekeeping and then get the rest of it done. Thanks.